Jinn are territorial. If they can have a foot in their dimension and come across one of these portal areas and be in our dimension, they can anchor sort of into the land and they consider land theirs. This is my space. This is my house. You're the squatter. I don't want you. Get out. And we find that in fairy lore as well. If they attach to people, it might be for infatuation. They become enamored with people. They want their energy. It's a personal thing. They want a vicarious thrill. They want to control, manipulate, experience. But it's personal. It often doesn't have anything to do with soul subversion. They will use soul energy, but they are self-directed, free will, and very intent on their own agenda. So these sorts of things can come out with sufficient investigation and inquiry, but sometimes it is a process of elimination. You don't really know what you're dealing with at first. You have to figure it out.
Yeah. We have a caller on the line, and we're going to jump to him. And is this Bryan? Brian, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Brian. Thanks for listening. This is Bryan, and you're talking to Rosemary Ellen Guiley. Go ahead, Brian.
Hi, Rosemary.
Hi there, Bryan.
It's great to talk to you. I actually run a paranormal team out of Ohio here called T.H.O.R Occurrence Research, and we have a copy of your encyclopedia of ghosts and spirits that is autographed by you even.
Oh, hey, fantastic.
And I spent some time with, I think you know Joshua P. Warren?
I do, yes.
Yeah, I spent some time with him, studying some phenomena down in Puerto Rico a few years ago.
That must have been interesting.
Yes, we had a great time. A couple of questions, if I could.
Sure.
I was thinking in regards to connecting the Jinn to the shadow figure phenomenon. Why think they seem to appear to people when they're sleeping? That's frequently if that was to be possibly the Jinn.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, Bryan, because after studying shadow people now for, almost 6-7 years, I have come to the conclusion that they are Jinn. This is one of their shape-shifted forms. Previously, I had just put them in like an ultra-terrestrial category. Clearly, they're not demons, but they suit the Jinn agenda very well, and I'm now willing to say that if you have a case with repeated shadow people manifestations, you are probably dealing with Jinn. And one of the reasons why I think they come while people are sleeping, and for the benefit of the audience out there who may not be acquainted with them, just quickly, shadow people are dark figures who usually visit people in their bedrooms. They look like tall silhouettes of men, often wearing coats and sometimes hats. They have no features, no eyes, no visible clothing details. They often radiate intense malevolence, can have a foot in their dimension and come across one of these portal areas, terrifying to the average person. Now, the speculation that we've arrived at, and we're speculating here because we don't know for certain, they don't communicate what they want, but if you are an entity made out of plasma and you want to reclaim a world that requires a physical form to exist in, you're probably going to want information about that physical form. And the best time to get that information is when those beings, that would be us, are sleeping. We are vulnerable. We can be penetrated. And I mentioned they can, and people report this, that they feel like this shadow person is trying to penetrate into their minds, sometimes into the very center of their being. They might be reading our neurological, biochemical information, our genetic information, coding, our thought processes, our emotional patterns, any number of reconnaissances that would be useful to them. And they may be trying to figure out how to control and manipulate us for their own purposes. The fear result from a shadow person encounter could very well energize them. You know, when you are suddenly terrified to the core of your being, you cannot help but give off an adrenal response of fear. And it's well known, of course, that animals smell that fear into the land, and they consider land theirs. This is my space. This is my house here as well, in some way. And this is what I think is going on with the shadow people, because they're not kidnappers. They're not like the abducting ETs, although people who have recurring shadow people experiences usually have ET encounters as well. And the connection that I think there is, if there are ETs interested in us genetically, that could be competition for the Jinn, so that may account for that overlap. But that's what I think is going on there, and I don't want you get out. And we find that in fairy lore as well. If they attach to people, it might be for
cases that I've read on the shadow figures. They seem to frequently, you'll see, you just mentioned it, that they'll have hats or even possibly hoods for report. What do you think might be significant about that?
I think that there's something about the head that they can't quite completely shapeshift out. Many people, and I've collected hundreds of cases now in my database, many people report something funny or misshapen about the head, even if it's wearing a hat, which is usually some weird out-of-fashion hat. And it's almost silly in a way. Or a cape or a cowl, that there's something weird. And the photographs that I have collected that I feel are genuine shadow people photos also reveal this, that there's something lumpy and weird or conical even about the head. Now, it may vary. The Jinn are often shown with horns, like devils and demons, and not just horns that protrude out of the head like the typical Satan figure we often see in literature, but they curve back into the head. And this may be a feature that they can't shapeshift out, and so they cover it up with hats.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And they have to be really big hats then.
Yeah, they're like top hats. Or
They
fedoras.
described as big floppy fedoras, sombreros, Dick Tracy detective hats, even Abraham Lincoln stovepipe hats.
Wow. Okay, final question. As a paranormal investigator, then, as somebody that's kind of getting into and hearing these reports like this, and now it's kind of started, it has me rethinking the way I look at the shadow figure phenomenon. We do cases. What's something that within the paranormal field that we should maybe
They want their energy. It's a personal thing. They want a vicarious thrill. They want to control, manipulate, experience. But with the Jinn, it often does that. And this is something that's been in the ufology community for some time now with the abducting ET scenario, that there may be races, not human or do with soul subversion. They will use soul energy, but they are self-directed, free will, and very intent on their own agenda. So these sorts of things can come out with sufficient investigation and inquiry, but sometimes it is a process of elimination. You don't really know what you're dealing with at first. You have to figure it out.
Yeah. We have a caller on the line, and we're going to jump to him. And is this Bryan? Bryan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Bryan. Thanks for listening. This is Bryan, and you're talking to Rosemary Ellen Guiley. Go ahead, Bryan.
Hi, Rosemary.
Hi there, Bryan.
It's great to talk to you. I actually run a paranormal team out of Ohio here called Toledo Haunted Occurrences Research, and we have a copy of your encyclopedia of ghosts and spirits that is autographed by you even.
Oh, hey, fantastic.
And also, I spent some time with, I think you know Joshua P. Warren?
I do, yes. The ones that I think that are interacting with us are hostile. They're obviously hostile, but that isn't characteristic of all Jinn. I think the ones that are not hostile toward us probably don't want much to do with us and just aren't going to be bothered with them.
Have you discovered one way or another some phenomenon down in Puerto Rico a few years ago?
That must have been interesting.
Yes, we had a great time. Great time. A couple of questions, if I could.
Sure.
I was thinking in regards to connecting the Djinn to the shadow figure phenomenon. Why think they seem to appear to people when they're...
But the Djinn...
That's frequently what... If that was to be possibly the Djinn.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, Bryan, because after studying shadow people now for, almost 6-7 years, I have come to the conclusion that they are Djinn. This is one of their shape-shifted forms. Previously, I had just put them in like an ultra-terrestrial category. Clearly, they're not demons, but they suit the Djinn agenda very well, and I'm now willing to say that if you have a case with repeated shadow people manifestations, you are probably dealing with Djinn. And one of the reasons why I think they come while people are sleeping, for the benefit of the audience out there who may not be acquainted with them, just quickly, shadow people are dark figures who usually visit people in their bedrooms. They look like tall silhouettes of men, often wearing coats and sometimes hats. They can be bargained with. More bargaining is possible with them than in most demonic cases. With demons, we look at features, no eyes, no visible clothing details. They often radiate intense malevolence, and they just come and stare at you. Sometimes they will attack people. They're quite terrifying to the average person. There are other ways of dealing with